I'm a dire Houston Cyclones fan, and this former Chiefs linebacker should have made a Super Bowl. My name is AJ Caldwell. Welcome back to Cyclone Kingdom. We're finally back in the studio after a week off at my church's summer camp. An incredible time of just fellowship and worshiping our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and being able to sit under his word and hear about the way, the truth, and the life that is Jesus Christ. But we're back. We're back now behind the mic to finish out our top 5 series this week just in time for the 4th of July, because after the 4th of July, it's time for season previews. The Chiefs, the Cyclones, giving a full position preview, a full season preview, a week-by-week preview. I'm looking forward to all of it. But we got to finish out top 5s because this is a one-time thing that we're never going to do again unless some dude puts himself in the top 5. So I'm excited to get this done and be able to show you guys who I think are the top 5 Kansas City Chiefs linebackers, and then so on and so forth as we finish out the defense. So make sure to like and subscribe to stay locked in to all those things. When you talk about the Chiefs linebackers, again, I'm a newer Chiefs fan, not a bandwagon fan, but I'm a newer Chiefs fan from 2013. And so because of that, there's a lot of guys I'm still getting to know for the first time ever that I've never seen play and have only seen their stats. And so to do that, again, we're going to share our screen to show you guys some of the stats that you may not even know about with some of these guys. So when we talk about the Chiefs linebackers, it's going to give away some information a little bit to you guys, but that's okay because the whole purpose of this is to be able to tell you guys about the greatness of these linebackers and how one of them should have made a Super Bowl, just straight up, and he just never got the chance to. Number 5 on the list is a Super Bowl champion. He's one of the cornerstone pieces of the Chiefs defense, besides Chris Jones, who we've already talked about a lot. It's Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton deserves to be on this list. He has been the Mike linebacker, the green dot guy, as they say, where you're taking over the defense and you're making the play calls and you're Spags' guy. Spags has talked about, Steve Spagnuolo has talked about Nick Bolton being the quarterback of the defense, the Patrick Mahomes of defense. He doesn't have the talent of Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have this otherworldly ability like some linebackers that we see in the NFL today. But Nick Bolton, the Chiefs don't win Super Bowls without Nick Bolton's contributions. The way he's able to tackle the ball carrier in the backfield, the way he's able to get after the quarterback, the way he's able to save touchdowns with his touchdown-saving tackles. I mean, he's, in my opinion, as someone who's been able to follow his whole career, one of the most important Chiefs in franchise history because of the Super Bowl success that has come along with him. That obviously the amazing moment of him scooping and scoring in the Super Bowl against the Eagles in the Super Bowl that we won. We don't talk about the other Eagles Super Bowl around here, but I appreciate Nick Bolton and everything that he's done for the Chiefs and the fact that he's stuck around. He's gotten the contract extension. Chiefs fans don't really like him because he can't cover this and, he can't do this aspect of being a linebacker. He's still a great linebacker, guys. He's not going to be in this top 10 category of linebackers today. But at the same time, if we're talking about the history of the Chiefs, guys, the Chiefs haven't had too much success. So when they do have success, when they do win Super Bowls, and Nick Bolton's a part of that team, especially as a middle linebacker, he deserves respect. And so Nick Bolton's number 5 on this list. He's not crazy high on this list. When we're thinking about just interceptions, Nick Bolton is, I was just looking at it the other day. I can't even find him now, but when we're talking about interceptions, he's not too high on the list, but whatever else he did for the Chiefs is insane. So Nick Bolton, we appreciate you in Chiefs Kingdom. Number 4 on the list is a guy that I had higher when I made this initial list. And then looking at interceptions, looking at solo tackles. Keep in mind, solo tackles weren't even tracked until 1999, which is why I had to make some adjustments to this list. Number 4 on the list, Donnie Edwards. Donnie Edwards is a top 5 linebacker in Chiefs history. If we look at his stats, if you just look at what Donnie Edwards did, I just saw him. There's a lot of different categories. 11 interceptions. He played from 1996 to 2008. Right? So Donnie Edwards was this guy that was in between the Joe Montana era and the Alex Smith era. So he's kind of sandwiched in between there with the Priest Holmes teams, with the Trent Green teams, with the Tony Gonzalez teams. Not a lot of postseason success. Not a lot of winning percentage success. But Donnie Edwards, 592 solo tackles, 16 and a half sacks. 16 and a half sacks as a linebacker is crazy work. 39th overall in total interceptions. Again, playing for 12 years. You're averaging an interception a year as a linebacker, coupled with 16.5 sacks. He deserves to be on this list, man. He was an incredible player within the Chiefs organization during that tenure of trying to get to the Super Bowl, of trying to make a deep playoff run. A lot of talented players during that era that we just kind of, as we talked about before, we just kind of throw them to the side because they didn't win Super Bowls. Well, that's not the only category when you talk about overall success of a guy and of a player and of his career. Donnie Edwards, number 4 on the list. Number 3 on the list is a guy that I sorely left out of this initial list. And thank goodness we hadn't recorded it yet because I was going to get crucified in the comments otherwise. Number 3 on the list is Bobby Bell. Hall of Famer Bobby Bell. One of the greatest Chiefs of all time. 26 interceptions. They didn't track solo tackles yet, but you know Bobby Bell got after it. Played from 1963 to 1974. And the guy went to work, man. I mean, he was part of a Chiefs Super Bowl winning team. He was part of the Len Dawson teams or the Hank Strand teams. Like, this is who he was. He was a cornerstone piece of a Chiefs franchise that was on top of the NFL world right at the beginning of the league back in the 1960s. Again, a Hall of Famer, a guy that if you go to Kansas City, you go to Arrowhead Stadium and go through the museum tour. I've never been to it, but I've heard amazing things about just the players that they show in there. Bobby Bell's on that list. And Bobby Bell is one of those core Chiefs players that everyone's going to remember for the rest of the time. I don't have too much else to say about him because I never saw him play. I've only seen a few highlights, but his stats speak for themselves. When you play for 11 seasons and you have 26 picks and you're top 10 all-time in Chiefs interceptions, that is something to be thankful for. That is something to just be in awe of if you're a Chiefs fan and if you're a teammate of his that played with him in those days. So shout out to Bobby Bell. Number 2 on the list. And again, I appreciate you guys going through all this with me. This is the first time I'm seeing some of these guys, but it's a core part of this channel to do these top 5 lists, especially in the heat of the offseason. And so this is fun to do. So I appreciate you guys sticking it out with me. Number 2 on the list is a guy that made Bobby Bell look like a JV player. All respect to Bobby Bell, but because of how great this guy was, Willie Lanier played from 1967 to 1977, 27 interceptions, one more than Bobby Bell. So he didn't just blow Bobby Bell out of the water, but Willie Lanier is one of the greatest linebackers in Kansas City Chiefs history. Again, played in that era. I think it was right after the Chiefs had won that Super Bowl. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but Willie Lanier did some great work for the Chiefs, playing in those 60s and 70s teams. Wasn't alive to see it, but still a lot of great memories that I'm sure Chiefs fans have of him. Deserves to be on this list. Wasn't on my initial list. And then doing more research on it, you got to give respect to the old heads and the guys that did great work for the Chiefs in the the Lamar Hunt era and the Hank Stram era, in an era of football where it was very difficult to be a consistent defense when there was so much variety with being able to run the ball really well. And then if you had a passing team like the Cowboys and Packers had, where you could pass the ball a lot, Willie Lanier, Bobby Bell being able to play side by side in those types of defenses was great. But nobody touches this guy. Let's transfer over to solo tackles because this is absolutely insane. Close to 1,000 solo tackles. Derrick Johnson. Derrick Johnson, special place in my heart because he was the starting linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs, the middle linebacker, the Nick Bolton of the defense. My first year following the Chiefs. We don't want to talk about the Titans game, the Titans playoff game that we lost at home. Marcus Mariota passed to himself. Still have nightmares about it. It was disgusting. But one of the coolest moments of that game was a touchdown that never happened. And Sean McDonough's voice cracks of Derrick Johnson running back a touchdown that looked like a fumble that the Chiefs were going to take the lead on. Ends up not being that way. Derrick Johnson would hammer the quarterback on these sacks. 27.5 sacks for the Chiefs. Where does that rank all time? I didn't even look at this. It's got to be high. I mean, we already talked about Derek Thomas and all these different guys. 21st all time for the Kansas City Chiefs in all-time sacks. Derrick Johnson, special place in my heart just because of what he did for the Chiefs, being a part of those Alex Smith teams that couldn't quite get over the hump. He deserved to be in a Super Bowl, man. Derrick Johnson was that good. I think someday, he retired in 2017, so I would hope in the next 5-10 years there are people talking about him in a Hall of Fame discussion. I think he deserves that because of his play, because of what he's able to do on a Chiefs team that didn't really have a lot of talent around it. I love Alex Smith. I love Jason Avant, all those guys, but there wasn't a ton of talent outside of Travis Kelce and a couple guys on defense with Chris Jones in there as well. So Derek Johnson being a part of that defense, being a core of that defense was very, very special. So shout out to him. Shout out to Derek Johnson for getting it done and for being the #1 overall all-time player in the history of the Kansas City Chiefs. Who's too high? Who's too low on this list? Again, I appreciate you guys bearing with me through these top 5 Chiefs lists. The only time that we'll do it, but it's fun to go through it and just give credit to these guys that don't get a lot of run, that don't get a lot of talk about them because they played in the 60s and they're too old now. Nobody remembers them. We remember them here at Cyclone Kingdom, and we appreciate you guys for sticking out and watching through with us. So make sure you like and subscribe for all Chiefs and Cyclones content. We got a couple more top 5 lists as we prepare to give our full upcoming season previews the following week. We appreciate you guys more than you know. Continue to follow along. And as always, roll clones. And how about those Chiefs?